There's nothing more tragic than a child soon to be born did not give the opportunity to see his or her parents, or even the world. And for one parent to lose both their partner and the one to be born. This tragic incident took away the husband of Kristian Guerrero. It is a constant reminder why alcohol needs to be kept out of the hands of one who is about to grab a steering wheel. In this particular video, we will, out of respect for his family, hide the face of Mr. Guerrero. On August 12, 2016, Fabian and Kristian Guerrero, newlyweds that had been married for just about 8 months and soon to be parents because they were expecting a baby, were returning home from San Antonio, Texas, where they had an appointment with immigration. They did not know that a wedge would be driven between all of them, having lifelong repercussions. On the other side, we have Sharma Elliott, a 22-year-old senior at Texas State University, who is returning home from a Riverside bar. Being under the influence, it did not occur to her that she was about to seal the fates of an innocent family and separate them for life that very day. While on her way, a driver behind her witnessed the entire scene play out. This is her testimony.
I saw a car just swerving, and then the car swerved out of control. When I looked up, the red car was spinning in the middle of the road, and the black car was heading towards the right side of the road.
The people in the black car were Kristian and her late husband Fabian. Fabian had suffered a significant injury to his abdomen, states paramedics. His legs were pinned by the dash, and Kristian had a head injury, as well as an injury to her stomach. At the time of the accident, she was 5 months pregnant. With her injuries, she asked a witness to stay with her for a while until she calmed down.
She was panicking and she didn't have anybody there, so she asked me just to stay with her for a few minutes while she calmed down, and she kept asking about her husband.
According to several eyewitness reports, Shauna was seen throwing a liquor bottle out of her vehicle after the collision, which was then quickly recovered. And this was the bottle. After doing so, she rushed out of her car to try and help Mr. and Mrs. Guerrero. However, one of the witnesses had to physically restrain her from trying to get the injured passengers out of their vehicle. When officers arrived and got her to do a sobriety test, she failed and was then put into handcuffs.
I didn't. I drank a few beers and that's it, I swear.
Go under arrest for DWI.
No.
At the hospital, as Shauna is cleared for jail, Mr. Guerrero is pronounced dead. And then his unborn son would also then be pronounced the same, just a short while after. Kristian, who had also been admitted, received the terrible news from an ultrasound nurse. A while after the incident, Kristian and Shauna went to court where startling revelations were made and the most heart-wrenching victim impact statement from Mrs. Guerrero came out. When being asked to identify her late husband in the photo, Kristian affirmed with her voice still shaking.
I'm going to point to that individual on the right-hand side. Is that Fabian?
Yes.
One of the most heart-wrenching statements was about how Kristian and Fabian's trip to San Antonio resulted in good news that Fabian was going to become an American citizen and they were going to live happily ever after. Unfortunately, this was short-lived. After everything, she moved out of her home because there were reminders everywhere of her deceased husband. In a startling turn of events, it was revealed that Mrs. Elliott consumed alcohol a few times a week, and during the time of the rake, she had already been out on bond for felony drug charges. All of a sudden, a huge bag with a distinct herbal smell was brought out.
Submitted to State's Exhibit number 4. Can you smell anything coming off that exhibit?
Yes.
Pretty distinct odor, right?
Yes.
Shockingly, a recording surfaced in the courtroom of Sharma and her boyfriend having a discussion, speculating that the Guerreros are connected to the cartel and that those very connections could cause harm to Shauna. Aside from all of this, the most haunting statement in court was Kristian's victim impact statement.
Don't cry. Don't cry. I thought it wasn't your fault that your family didn't care enough to teach you a lesson, but instead threw money to get you out of jail. And in doing so, you became my problem. But you don't deserve my pity. I don't know what's worse. What you said when you were drunk, accusing my husband and I of drinking that day at the river, or when you were completely sober on the phone with your boyfriend just months after you murdered my family, discussing our fictitious involvement in the cartel. I don't care about your troubled childhood. My husband, his family came over here with nothing. They worked day in and day out for their family. Did you see us out there doing anything illegal? Did you see us out there selling drugs? Did you see us out there murdering people? No. And that's the difference between you and me. I'm sorry I even know you exist because I wish I never did. I'm sure you and I have both wished that it was you that day instead of them. You're so much more than just a poor girl with a bad childhood. You're so much more than just a stupid girl who can't learn from her bad decisions. You're a murderer and a thief. You stole my life. The least you can do is sit in jail, not just so you can learn from what you've done, but so no other family has to know you like I know you. You're a monster. And you're not sorry for what you've done. You're sorry because it landed you right there. You're sorry because you got caught.
The lasting effects of this incident has caused Kristian to be afraid of driving and of drunk drivers while residing in a college town. Her anxiety spikes when she has to go to work. She has avoided going out and prefers to stay in.